What up, world? It's your boy O'Jay Bostic, author of the newly released banger, Running for Nothing. I got my South Carolina brothers with me, jump out the porch with Dirty Glove Bastard. Hey!
And they came from nothing. I'm the same little nigga, won't talk too much. This here, that's pain from hustling. I had to go out in front of me, we ain't knew that this rain was coming.
All right, so we got O'Jay Bostic jumping off the porch with us today. Welcome, man.
Appreciate the invite. I'm definitely excited. I think the last 2 years, I actually reached out like last year about this interview, and I thought I was gonna drop last year, but sometimes in life, you had those setbacks. So whatever's supposed to happen, happens at the perfect time. But I'm here now, so I'm super excited. Got my team, we all from the same role.
Okay.
843 stand up, South Carolina, we in the building.
Yeah, go ahead and shout them out so everyone knows who's up there with you today too, man.
Bros. If you know, you know. Bros.
Okay, say no more, man. All right, so you from, is it Long, South Carolina?
Long, South Carolina, LA.
Okay.
Long's area.
Man, even Googling this didn't help me too much, man.
I'm from there, and I still got to go real small. Like, all right, how we not here? All right, there we at. We're right there. So small.
Yeah, there's not much info online about Long, South Carolina, man.
Trenches.
Is it?
Trenches.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's anywhere. Sometimes if you look at zip codes in low impoverished areas, it's all the same. One hood is the same hood. It's all the same, just different names. So if you look at every hood, it's one common resource or one common issue, a lack of resources. Those zip codes that, people, redlining and things like that happen with, zip codes.
Yeah.
Just poverty.
So how does one make it out of that type of environment with, with those situations then?
Man, so, we have to stay in your product of your environment. I think that's an excuse. I think with the black community, there's a lot of, we victimize ourselves. Like, yeah, you can come from the hood and really make it out, because right now the best thing to do is come from the hood, move to the suburbs, get you a house with a nice picket fence. Everybody else, I made it out, you can do it. Me personally, I look at it the exact opposite way. If I came up in the hood, I know how you feel, I feel the same way. Why would I not establish myself and go back? Because we can chop it up. Hey, when I was your age, this, that. And that's what I do all the time. I'm in the Army, so I've been all around the world. And everywhere I go, my face been good, and I got people that love me like we know each other for 30, 40 years.
Oh, wow. So what made you join the Army? And you joined right out of high school, right?
2 weeks after graduation, just a lot of dysfunction. A lot of times with dysfunctional families, it's just those family secrets, but you never can really establish anything off lies and deception and just covering things up. So anybody that's been from a dysfunctional family, you're kind of like not the tightest knit group. But that's kind of what happened with me. I'm the oldest out of 4 kids. I'm the only boy. So for me, I've always been an outcast. So I've been in my own little lane anyway. But really never changed up. Never going to.
Okay. When you say dysfunctional, like, can you break this down? Like, what made your family dysfunctional? Just
a lot of, got to read the book. I go into full details. But in my book, I'm not shaming anybody. I'm just telling you my life story. And my life story, it relates to a lot of people. But I'm a former foster kid. So what happens, it's got to be extreme for the state to jump in to take you from your parents.
Oh, wow.
So.
Yes.
Foster kid, gonna be the foster parent. That's my goal in the next few years.
Oh, really?
That's my goal.
No, that's dope, because there's a lot of kids in that program that definitely need a good home to go to, man. That's
yep. So you didn't get no love where you're at. I'll show you some love, and I've been there, and I want you to be great. Usually it don't happen that way, but there's a lot of people that come from the system and end up being great. A lot of them, they just couldn't overcome the situation environment. So, and that goes back to that change of environment. You can always change your environment, so that's why I say I feel like it's an excuse. If I know this is gonna happen, let me try to, if every 5 seconds you're getting punched, and I see you getting punched, I may intervene, be like, hey, move the chair over a little bit, because I know it's gonna happen. So that's why I feel like it's an excuse, part of your environment. You can always shape your environment. It may take time. It took time for us to get to where we're at, but the black community, you look into the books, we come from slavery. We from Plantation Drive, we call it Joetown. Plantation Drive. If you do the history where I'm from, South Carolina. So, South Carolina is Mississippi, as Arkansas, as Alabama, as Tennessee, it's the South. So. But we're always progressing. So I can talk about the bad things and feel like, we got to boss up. But when we boss up and have some unity, hey, we're very influential.
So 18 years old, joining the Army. Where do you do your basic training at?
So I'm from South Carolina, but I end up going to Missouri. It's a base, probably 45 minutes outside of St. Louis, Fort Leonard Wood. Very mountainous. That was interesting. But when I went, I just couldn't, I had to grind. Like, I couldn't fail. I got kicked out when I was a teenager, so I was saying with my homegirl, Keisha, I love you. You know how we rock. Hey, you good in my book, I know I'm good in your book. My homegirl, Keisha, when I got kicked out, I had like 2 bags. I was kind of like beat, like, man, I don't have nowhere to go. This after foster system. I was like, yeah, I can stay with my grandma, but my mom, that's your daughter. So at the end of the day, more loyalty. So she saw me, she's like, hey, you can sleep in the bed with my kid. So me and her 8-year-old son, we shared a bed. So once I got, I was still working, going to school, grinding. So I stayed there enough time just to sleep. And he just like slept downstairs or whatever. So I was like, man, as a teenager, you get looked out for. But as a man, hey, I could be on the side of the road asking for change, or I can keep grinding, come from nothing. So even if I come up and fall back down, I started from nothing. So I'm just really trying to get stable. That's how I feel.
Yeah. And you've been in the Army for what, 18 years now?
18 and some change. I'm ready to make that transition out. It's going
Okay.
to be good. Me and bro were talking a few weeks ago. When I joined the Army, I stuck around because I had a baby early, but the Army for me was just kind of somewhere to kind of get myself established and like just kind of figure out what I wanted to do. When I was a kid, it was so much dysfunction. I wasn't thinking about like life afterwards. One of the people you see in the hood, what they doing. So jewelry, cars, all that stuff, you see it, you're like, man. Then you look like, man, we eating pork and beans and rice. And we need some kerosene too. It's a little chilly. But at the same time, a lot of those people that's in the hood doing whatever they're doing for their revenue, a lot of them, they shine, but it end up being where a lot of times their kids end up doing the same thing. So what's the point of the hustle if you are doing reoccurring cycles like it's a job? That's not a job, it's a trap. So the quick thing about a trap is you're gonna get in and out.
Yeah.
If you move too slow in a trap, and if they trap you up, guess what? You're a prisoner. Slavery was abolished unless you're a prisoner. So come on now, you gotta be smart.
What would you say were like some of the biggest lessons you learned, or just what did you learn about life while being in the Army then, these past 18 years?
Man, so much. A lot of times you get stuck in your little environment. So like I said, we're from South Carolina. The part of South Carolina we're from, we probably 5 minutes away from North Carolina. So we're closer to North Carolina than we are our state capital. But then a lot of times people get stuck in their smaller areas. You kind of know, all right, we're gonna play Dillon High School, we're gonna play, Hemingway, these small little towns. So you know that little small area because it's just, regional. But it's a whole different world. So that's why I said when I did this interview, I was like, yo, let's shoot down to the A. So when it's nice, high rise, had some fun last night, and tomorrow we're going to tailgate at the Falcons game. And then, just from that point, these guys been heading back to Carolina. I'll probably be that way, probably Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Go see my baby and then head to that way and then just on the grind.
Yeah.
I'm grinding.
And have you been deployed?
Been to Afghanistan, been to Iraq. Afghanistan was the craziest thing. We had a 60-minute video featured on us. It was crazy. Later on, I found out we was in Afghanistan like the deadliest year. So, Afghanistan, that'll change your mind. And just once you go through that, everybody's saying, oh, I got ops, this and this, we're gonna do this and this. But when it gets real, we're talking about like a country like having, a lot of people don't like the U.S. So, yeah, it don't matter if you're black, white, poor, has not, it don't matter. You're just American soldier. So, but I've had people tell me, hey, O'Jay Bostic, you changed my view of black people. So just sometimes you get, the U.S. is somewhat still segregated, just, based on like economics and just kind of preference of, where you want to live at. Yeah, especially in the military, it's so diverse too. You're going to get someone from every walk of life in the military. Yes, and for the most part, most everybody has a story of not coming from nothing, but a lot of times when people get to that level, they, start putting their nose up and thinking they're better than where they came from. Me, I never did that because all the people I always came up with, they sit in the same place. Yeah, I visit this and this, but it's still the same. So I just had, like recently me and bro had a conversation. Like when I was a kid, my grandma used to light the hood up, a lot of lights. I'm like, bro, what happened to all the lights? This and this. Just dealing with, it's a struggle. So people struggling. So do I want to have my highlight bill when I can just do this and this? But, I used to like that when my grandma used to light the hood up. So once I get everything established, I'm gonna bring it back.
Okay.
Just to, just hold that lineage. From a dysfunctional family, but, once you start doing your research and start like digging back, I mean, yeah, you got to hold people accountable, but then when you start seeing how much dysfunction, it just rolls downhill. And eventually what happens is somebody has to stop it. So with this interview, I'm gonna take this time to shine on everybody on the stage right here. I'm not gonna put their business out, but based on their family dynamics, I call that generation curse breakers. Once that person stops it and lets everybody go by, everybody else from that point is good. So it takes that one person to just kind of like take the impact of the old and new to make things better going forward. And that's what's gonna have to happen on many levels for the black community, because we got released from slavery, but we never had the resources to, thing. So, I mean, it's just history, when I talk about being pro-black, I'm not anti anything, because at the end of the day, it's about being has or has not. I'm a regular person, I'm in the U.S. Army, I believe in love, just, all that stuff like that. Love's everything. Yeah. Never hate nobody, I have no reason to hate. There's nothing that you got that I'm gonna hate on you. You come through with a Rolls Royce, Ghost, whatever. Hey, do your thing. I like that. Everybody has their own things they like. Me personally, if I had money like that, probably won't get it. I'll probably try to make it do different things for my money. So I'll probably set up a business for my kids, and then just do something like that instead of like trying to show off.
Yeah.
Being too flashy kind of gets you into things. I'm a little flashy now, but it took some time it took some time. And it's people walking around bigger, flashy chains, more diamonds and all that stuff like that. It's just what it is. But it took time. I didn't get this just early in life. I had to just set my priorities and like, all right, I can do this, I can do that. Okay, let me upgrade this and this. Just slowly do it. You can always do whatever you want to do. It's no, you don't have to run through life. You got to pace it. Because if you run too hard, sprint, you're gonna burn yourself out. So you're gonna slow down anyway. So the best thing you do in life is kind of pace it, and you're gonna have your ups and downs and the unexpected turns. So it's a roller coaster.
No, that's real, man. And speaking of running, so your book is out. It is entitled "Running from Nothing: The Soldier Mentality."
Top seller. So yeah,
Top
soldier
seller.
mentality. Yes. A lot of people they look at my book. They're like, okay, you're in the Army. It just happened to work that way. To me, the soldier mentality is just not necessarily representing the soldier, even though I am a soldier. But I think a lot of people are soldiers. If you come from any kind of hood, any kind of area that you deal with great poverty, you know how to survive. So when I say the soldier mentality, it's just about survival. Knowing, whatever obstacle you put in front of me, I'm not gonna run. You might pop me in the face, I'm gonna, fall to the side, I'm gonna get back up, no matter what. And I think like the last few years, I've just been going through some like personal stuff. I kind of talk about it in my book, but I kind of let some stuff get to me as far as like the dad in me. So sometimes you can only do the best you can do. Once you do the best you can do with anything in life, and you know that's the best you can do, sometimes you gotta let it go and just let life. So that's kind of how it was. So there's a situation with my first kid. I know my wrongdoings and I know what I'm dealing with and things like that, and it's cool. But I just been through a lot. But once I kind of reached my breaking point, I got blessed with like another little girl. So I got 1 boy and 2 girls. My first daughter, so special. I got her name tatted, little South Carolina tree. I look at my girl as being like the family tree. Just sometimes when parents are not on the same page, it creates issues. We see that all the time. We see recently Kirk Franklin and all that stuff going on. That stuff happens a lot. Although I don't know what's going on with Generation X, they had a lot of things going on. A lot of people who didn't know their fathers. There's a lot of stuff going on. And a lot of that stuff, we will never know the truth about it. But I just think there's a lot of stigmas that are still lingering from that era. Even though, there are people that are not very ambitious. Everybody's not going to, everybody can't be a boss.
Yeah. How would you say being a father changed your life then?
Oh, so yeah, it changed my life like greatly. To me, I look at a father, it's kind of like being a fiend. Once you get that first experience, you're always gonna just want to relive it. You're always gonna want to do better. Sometimes, a fiend may have more money than this day, but they're still gonna, chase what they need. And you're not gonna stop them from getting that thing. So as a dad, I may not be perfect, and it's a lot of things I looked at. I was like, man, should I have stayed in the Army for stability, or could I have gotten out and spent more time with my daughter? That's one of those things. I'll probably have to battle myself with that forever, but I'm in a situation right now, and I can make it better for my current kid. But I feel like my oldest daughter, once the smoke clears, you can really see. So that's how I feel. And I just kind of talk about that situation because I did let it get to me. I ain't gonna say defeated, but as that's my kid, So just, a lot of women, they try to take the ownership, like I'm this. A lot of times it's just that pride, and then a lot of times if a woman didn't have her dad, they don't really value dads because they don't know what it is. You can say daddy issues or whatever, but sometimes when somebody knows so much about you, they know exactly where to get you. So I just had a surgery. So I know like if something happens, stay away from his arm. But if you steadily punching me, then you already know my weak area. So I'm just gonna have to suck it up or, figure something out.
Yeah.
Eventually I'm gonna get, eventually it's gonna get numb or I'm gonna get used to it. And once you get used to that weak area and make it strong, then, you just gotta make your haters, make them mad.
How old are your kids right now?
So my oldest, she is sweet 16. I got a 10-year-old and I got an 8-month baby. So
Oh wow, congrats.
girl. My little boy, we locked in. It's so easy with the same sex, but the opposite sex is a little different. But my little girl, she cool. I call her big girl. She's a chunky baby, but the reason I call her big girl is like for my first daughter, I was in Iraq for like 15 months. But for my baby, I get to see her turn into a big girl. You're always gonna be a big girl. So she probably gonna think because she think, oh, don't call me big girl. So, later on, I'll put this video up for her. She's on 8 months, but every time I call her, she's gonna smile. She's starting to get around now. So it's best when I go see her. Me and her mom, we're not together, but we good. We locked in. So That's a good thing. When you got somebody as a team, versus somebody like, oh, well, I feel like this is this, or I'm mad this relationship didn't work out, or when I was with you, I could have been with this person, so now I'm gonna hate you for life. It's just life. You're supposed to be where you're supposed to be at.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Going back to the book, can you explain the cover?
Oh, so the cover.
Yeah, can you hold it up so people can
Yes,
see it?
yes. So I got it back here too.
Yep.
So my book, Running From Nothing. Running From Nothing basically represents, it may be some kind of obstacle, challenge, something you're dealing with. Maybe you don't know how to handle it. Maybe you don't know what resources you need. Maybe you just don't want to accept it. A lot of times when you go through a situation, you realize that you're running from nothing because you got to solve it. If you don't solve a problem, it's going to linger. You can be, like me, I'll say I came from a dysfunctional family, but I can be like, hey, I'm a screwed up person because I came from a dysfunctional family. No, I know where I came from. I know I got to fix myself. And then that kind of brings me to another thing we can talk about too. It's about like the mental health. That's super important. But I got to fix myself to make it better, because trauma and things like that, all you're doing is you're bleeding. Somebody has to be like, I'm bleeding. Let me put a Band-Aid on this. Let me clean this thing up. Put some whatever, what kind of ointment, whatever. But so it's running for nothing. So you see, like a kid. So like a lot of stuff that happened with me happened when I was a little kid. I remember my whole life like vividly, from like me and bro like just walking around with this, like our little dirt road. It got paved probably like in like 1999. But his folks and my folks, we like not neighbors. We were like 2 things down. So bro was working on his spot, and I'm working my spot too. So I was doing some work like a few weeks ago. And I looked on like, dang, we about to be like neighbors for real. Make a little cut, so then our kids can come up and then just kind of like just keep it going, because a lot of stuff was going on. There's a lot of some of the stuff that happened, we'll never know the truth because most people are dead, and some people are just not going to admit to it. But we got to make it better for the next generation. So we just lead by example. And I think this with the Generation Y, the millennials, we're so unique. I think we're very pivotal because we came up in between the two. Gen X, the old school, that's the last of the true old school. We're in the middle, and then we got the new school. We understand, but we came up more old school. So one thing I always try to do with the youth, I just try to talk to you, just try to, I'm not your father, I'm not your this and this. I just look at you like my little brother, I'm a big homie. I'll talk to you. If I feel like you're not being receptive, then, we'll switch it up, and I know how to deal with you. But a lot of times, some of the best things is like just going back home, because I've been away so long. I like to go talk with the youth. Once we talk and chop it up and this is this, later on when we see each other, like, hey, do you remember me, so-and-so? Yeah, I remember you, blah, 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 blah. Not too many people talk to us, or, just talking to some of the homies. I was like, yo, so what's your 5-year plan? It kind of blew them away, because you don't talk about stuff like that. You talk about, hey, old boy right here got no bricks. Let's, figure out how to do this and this, or let's scam and do this. What's your 5-year plan? How you plan on getting there? So he's like, dang, 5 years, that's a long time. So I broke it down. Like, hey, your 5-year plan is really like 1 year. It's really like 6 months. And then you kind of just kind of assess it from there. So that's one of the things I put in my book too. So I got like 4 major quotes that I kind of wanted to harp on, because a lot of people don't read. Mm-hmm. But if you watch this interview, and hope everybody watches it and shares it and all that good stuff, I had a few things that I kind of wanted to hit on. So that was one of it. So I watch these interviews all the time. So I saw we had North Carolina representing with Get Rich Zay. Mm-hmm. And I like the way he said it. So young guy really saying the same thing I really said too. So when you have those goals, you can talk, you got to write it down. So in my book, I got a little passage that says, I feel it's imperative to write your goals down, which creates a personal contract to yourself, making it much harder to not stick to. So when you write it down, you really got to articulate yourself. Like, all right, I'm going to do this. All right, that's not realistic. You're not going to lie to yourself. You're really going to be honest about what you can do. So once you write it down, hang it on your door, put it on the mirror, whatever you got to do. Once you write it down, and I had another homeboy, I thought he was going to be here. He's the one that told me that probably around like 2020. Kept telling me. Then when I did it, I'm like, oh crap, I see why he kept telling me that for. So yeah, you start writing that stuff down, you start looking at it. All right, I said I'm gonna do this. All right, I wrote this down. I'm looking, I see the contract I wrote to myself. Let me get up. I said I'm gonna go to the gym every day. All right, it's 4:50. All right, let me get up. And once you start doing it, being consistent, you're like, now after the 21 days, it's a habit. Yeah, 21 days to start a habit. So you just gotta get past those 3 weeks, and they say, it's clockwork. So that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah. You want to share the other quotes you got on there too?
Yeah, so that's one of them. Another one is, no one's going to fix these issues if they don't directly affect them. So the people that identify and relate to an issue to come up with ways to improve them as a problem solvers. Don Tripp was one of my favorite rappers. When I'm in my down point, I listen to Don Tripp and I'm like, man, you can tell, bro, we're from the same thing. Just talk about his kids, talk about making money, and just talk about chilling. So he done dropped a mixtape every month, so I don't know which one it is, but actually it's the newest one, if I'm mistaken. SOS, gotta save ourselves. We see the same thing happen over and over and over. Nobody's coming to save you. I'm not knocking anybody's religion, anything like that, but I've been all over the U.S. The nicest place I've seen in a lot of hoods are churches, but the hoods still look the same. You gotta save yourself. You're looking for somebody else to save you. Hey, some people religious, some people not. I'm not gonna say you. I'm just saying you gotta save yourself. And then I feel like when you save yourself, you gotta come back and relate to people that were. It's easy for me to go back to South Carolina versus somebody to go to where I'm from. Because first of all, it's too small. You might pass it, but you can't. You're not gonna really fully understand, and you really gotta be like kind of like locked in. Like we're so small. If you ride by, all you see is the woods, and you don't pass it. But once you get past the woods, it's like a whole little community.
And what are the people like in Long, South Carolina?
People, oh man, it's so everybody has their own personalities, but how can I say this? Small places. Basically, everybody's up like a little mountain half road, and there's like another little section. But the actual city is like big, but there's different community within the city. So people are kind of like just like territorial. I think with us, whenever people like Myrtle Beach is like 20 minutes away, 15, 20 minutes. Once everybody goes to like Myrtle Beach, they kind of rock with each other, but when you're in the same environment daily, not so much. So it's kind of like we deal with each other, but it could be a whole lot better. But at the same time, a lot of times people do. It's just, I say if on a grading scale, I give it like a C. Could be a lot better. I say B minus.
Okay.
People deal with each other, but it's kind of iffy. It could be a whole lot better. But it's so small, it could be good. And that's one thing I want to see. I want to see people like getting money like legally. Because I don't see people trap. And then I look online, paperwork, oh, you snitching, but you was living this. So like, to me, just that street life, we already see what it leads to. You got a window, and if you don't have a window, you're gonna pull time, or you're gonna tell. So it's like, it don't lead you anywhere. Most of the big dope boys, they fall off, and a lot of them end up on drugs. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not a street dude, and I never go to school, chase your dreams. But if you're in the streets, I don't know why you're in the streets. I don't knock you. I got a lot of homies in the streets. You taking care of your business, so I really respect you because you're doing the same thing I'm doing. Like, the Army for me, it's just my hustle. I'm just not selling like any kind of product. But now I do get my product running for nothing. It's positive. So we get so much negative, it's just time for positive. Like a lot of people feel like I sound like a certain way, or you don't really like know me like that. So they probably feel like, oh yeah, he from the suburbs, you had it good, or anything like that. But if I tell you about my life story, you're gonna be in tears. I guarantee you. If I break everything down, slowly, unless you're just straight heartless. But even some of the hardest dudes, I seen like, man, I feel you. I don't go in deep detail. I just give you an overview. But if I break it down to you, you're gonna be in tears because it's real.
Yeah. What's the third quote you got written down on there?
Yeah. So we got the third one. So I got two more. So the next one is the best ones in life come from people that were counted out by the masses while knowing they were truly champions. You got the underdog. I'm not speaking much. I'm trying to think. Like several years ago, it was the New England Patriots playing the New York Giants. Nobody thought the Giants had a chance, but they won. Eli Manning was, Tom Brady's kryptonite.
Beat him twice in the season.
Yeah, great defenses, of course, but Eli, he made it work. So yeah, and then the last one is if you've never been exposed to the conditions of being at the very bottom, then it's hard to truly understand how well you're doing. But so many people are hurting across the country. A lot of times we get in our little bubble thinking I had it so bad, but no matter how bad the situation is or are, somebody still got it worse. There's some people dealing with extreme situations. And, I kind of feel like everything you deal with you can handle, but obviously it doesn't happen because you look at like suicide numbers and things like that, just maybe it's pride or, didn't feel like you had people to trust. I kind of been, I've been in environments where I couldn't really trust anybody, so I just kind of say to myself. But that just gave me a lot of, in my book I said like, I feel like I've been by myself my whole life. Not saying I haven't been around people, but like just an environment where I really can't trust you. Like I see you, this and this, but it's not really like, it's just not a place I really fit in. So that's kind of how I felt as a kid. All my homeboys I'm still cool with, this is this, and like we came up in like a different generation. We used to go out, play football, basketball, probably like PlayStation 2, things like that. And then, we hit adulthood, Jeezy, the snowman shirts, all that stuff. Big, some earlier, like the big shirts and all the big pants and all that. So that era's gone. So that's another thing too. I want to hit on like the music. Music is an art. A lot of art you do see. Just because you hear somebody on a record say do this and this, I would say, who's in charge of the record labels? Do they have any interest of you crashing out? Yeah, this person has diamonds, this and this and this, but if this person really live a life of crime, like these songs say, And someone may be doing it, but you know, a lot of times we do see a lot of hip hop artists get into situations legally that are not the best. And you know, I feel like you got to be smart. A lot of people kind of like, I feel like they glorify going to jail, being locked up. That's not a place for you to be.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like to a certain extent, the Army is like kind of being like institutionalized, but it's some kind of freedom. But no matter what, since 5:45, I need to be at work, ready to work out, or you know, whatever we're doing for that day. So, not the same thing, but it's to a certain extent it is, because it's very structured. So some of the techniques are very similar. But you know, I've never been locked up. As a black man, I take great pride in that. I think we need people that should kind of set that challenge and do that, and then just kind of like, that's not a place for you to be at.
Yeah.
Even if you're the most jacked up person, you're still better outside than inside.
Yeah. Did it take you long to adjust to that type of structure when you first got into the Army?
So my book, just coming from a small town, you've been in like a huge environment. It's just like you meet so many different people and you're still trying to get accustomed. I was kind of like to myself because a lot of times people don't really talk to that new person. It takes some time for them to like warm up to you. So like I just go to work, go to my room, I'm like, man, nobody really rock with me. Like, man, it's like, I feel like being like in high school going to a new school where you got to kind of like take some time to get adjusted. So I was in like a military police unit, so they had strict rules. So they made you wait a few weeks before you going out. First person that hit me up, like, hey, let's go out, so-and-so. I forgot about all those rules. That night, it was like December in Germany. I got so drunk drinking like Red Bull and vodka. I probably spent a lot of money, and I made a rookie mistake. And it's in my book too. I woke up late the next day. So I started my Army career kind of like in a bad thing. Luckily, they gave me a fresh start, and then I met one of my homeboys from Florida. He kind of like gave me the game after kind of like, oh yeah, this person's a troublemaker, this and this. They basically just relocated me, and I had like a fresh start. Once I got that fresh start, I'm like, yo, you got to focus. Then I got like, ended up making a baby several months later.
Oh, wow. Going back to the book, what do you want readers to take away when they finish it?
What I want you to take from the book is like, you can change your environment. You don't have to be a victim. You can go as far as you want to go. Another thing I put in my book too is, say the soldier thing. So I am in Army, but it's really about the survival. So when I was a kid, you know, the limit cash money was going crazy. So, and I gave him his flowers. Master P was the first dude that went across the hood saying it's no limits. You know, people got the survival mentality, soldiering, but the no limit part, I don't think people really fully focus on. If you're too green in certain areas, or if you don't have your head on the pivot, they'll get you. You know, but at the same time, the black community, we kind of do more harm towards each other than anybody else. You can say self-hate or anything like that. I mean, being black is not it's not the cream of the crop in the U.S. I mean, no other nationality or race or whatever is going to say, hey, I want to be black in America, or probably say I want to be black at all. But to me, being, you know, born the way I am, no choice over it. I like the challenge and try to, you know, everywhere I go, even to I call everybody brother or sister. I give you your props. I don't have no reason to hate. That's just me.
Yeah. What's your relationship like with your family today?
I rock with me. Me and my sister, we real cool. She came to visit me. I think I went home, 2 weeks ago? Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, she pulled up on me, just take care of some business, but I just rock with me. One thing about me is I'm not playing the victim, but you gotta be honest. I got my own kids. I know I'm not a perfect parent. The relationship with my oldest daughter is not the best. I don't like it. So, and you know, once my daughter is ready to talk to me, I'll be honest. I'm gonna hear her out. I'm not gonna belittle her thoughts or how you feel. All ears. Okay, I understand the way you feel. Okay, now let me enlighten you on some things that maybe you don't know. This and this. A lot of times you're blown away. Like, okay, now you're just looking at one side, but it's a whole different side you never were supposed to. And that's just control. Yeah. When people know you, they know how to take advantage of you. And kids are very easily to manipulate. But no matter what, a kid is 50-50. No matter what, that's his DNA.
Have you forgiven your family for your childhood?
Yeah, it don't matter.
Okay.
I'm grown. Like I said, I got my own kids. I can't be like, oh, boo, hoo, 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 hoo. I got my own kids, so it don't really matter. Only thing is, like, we can never be like this huge, tight knit, but it never would happen that way anyway because it won't be real. It never be that way. Some of y'all I don't really trust around my kids and things like that. And just, you know, it is what it is. Like, people getting older and, you know, a lot of things happen, but it's like, you're forgiven because my thing is forgiveness. You're not that important where you're not stopping anything, you know. Like I said, I got my bros with me jumping on the porch. I rock with who rock with me, and that's what it's all about. Family is not necessarily, that's another thing in my book too. I talk about relatives and family. Family is just all love. relatives. Oh, he gonna come out the porch, look at his big chain. I got this right here, this and this. Oh, so. Man, he gonna, all that jealousy and all that stuff. So you really like slick, like, bro, I would let you put the chain on. Like, we family. But some people don't look at it like that. So I think that's a lesson I had to learn the hard way recently, but I'm glad it happened. It was just kind of like this kind of positive reinforcement of this rock who rock with you. Yeah. You don't have to go with the grain. Sometimes you gotta go against the grain. It's gonna take you to a better path in life.
Was it therapeutic writing this book?
Very. My book could have been a simple conversation, but that never happened. So it's cool, but at the same time, it probably happened for a reason. So I know what the level of ignorance or just denial and things like that, other people are dealing with the same thing too. So a lot of people really, that's the part they really feel like, when they read the back of my book, they're like, okay, I know exactly what you mean. I'm gonna buy your book just because of that. I've had people like, I sold like 50 books before this is my first real interview. I got some promotional videos coming out, but it's like the first real thing. But I sold like 50 copies out of my little clear bag. Different countries.
Really?
India, Canada. Went to Detroit a few weeks ago. Going back to Detroit in a few weeks. Going to Nashville. Everywhere I go, I got my clear bag. I'm a sports fan. I'm a Carolina Panthers fan and Gamecocks fan. Not doing so well this year, but I feel like the whole state of South Carolina, we kind of never been doing good. And I never liked that. So instead of complaining and saying this and this, do something about it. So that's how I feel.
Yeah. And let people know where they can find the book at.
All right, so my book is available on all platforms, and I'm all over. Usually this battery here, I got my LED lights, and I just have it. I'm not going. Sometimes I solicit, sometimes I just put it out there where it kind of brings some attention. But it's available on Books A Million, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, and then you can like do a Google search, probably some other little platforms. And I'm trying to work on some stuff right now with Barnes & Noble to have my book available at least locally here and some other places in the Southeast. I just got to present my marketing plan, so I need to do that like ASAP. Then I'll just do different book signings. I'm a regular person. I'm not no celebrity. I love to have the money, but as far as that stuff, so even if this whole book, I kind of got to get out of my shell because I'm not really that, that social media superstar or anything like that. So I got a small bunch of followers, so follow me, IGO_J, JAY843. I got to get that up and things like that. Just the way it's a different world.
Yeah. Would you write another book in the future?
As of right now, this is it. But only reason I wrote this book, me and my cousin, my first cousin, we had a conversation. He's like, bro, I never know you had that stuff going on. You should write a book. I kind of laughed at it. I was like, why did he tell me this? Because you never really like know the impact you may have on somebody else, or like you're just used to your life. Somebody may hear it like, whoa, that's crazy. So that's how it was. So he's like, you should write a book. And then I wrote a book, and I'm like, okay, cool. So right now, this is a non-celebrity. It takes some time to get that support, but I got 2 Amazon ratings, and it's kind of current with what I thought it would be. Like, I put top seller. If you read my back of my book, and you got $15, if you buy it from me, you're gonna get it, and I'm gonna sign it for you. Then obviously on with the companies, it's a little more. You're gonna pay the actual set price on the book. But my book is not about the money or anything like that. I'm good money-wise. Not being cocky or anything like that, but I've been in the Army for a long time, so I'm able to retire and then do different things in my life. So just 20 years is a long time, just looking back at it. So, I mean, was it worth what I came to now? I don't know, but I'm just looking forward to the other side of life. But I never knock it because it was the thing I needed to give me the foundation. It's nothing like going to take your daughter to the mall, whatever you want, it's on me. I'm gonna swipe that card, it's gonna be there. I ain't never had nothing like that. I'm going to Family Dollar, we're gonna get whatever, and just what it is. Once you realize your parents poor, I feel like, you kind of stop asking for things. Like, you're not gonna get it. So you just gotta be honest about the situation. A lot of kids kind of have to grow up fast. But at the same time, I feel like you can't even blame your parents because poverty is real, but it's hard to break. You can work. You can work till you 100 years old and still barely making it, still be under it. It's like you really gotta really understand. But there's really there's no reasons that you can't really be more financially literate these days. Mm-hmm. You got books like How to Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad Poor Dad. All you gotta do is read these books and see what these millionaires are saying, and then kind of take it and flip it to make it work for you. And yeah, you're financially literate in your own being.
Yeah, no, that's real good advice right there too, man. And also congrats on even putting out the book, man. I'm sure that's no easy task to have an idea for a book, actually write it, and then be able to release it as well.
Very time consuming. Like I said, last year I thought it was gonna drop. I think I paid the deposit for this 2 years ago. I kept saying, hey, it's gonna be this and this. I just stopped talking. I'm like, man, I keep talking because I was so excited. I'm like, man, it's gonna be a good book, but just that editing process just took forever. So I wanted to drop on my birthday last year. Then I was thinking like, all right, my birthday this year. So I think my actual release date was September 20 or 21st.
Yeah.
So, and now I found that out by email. I'm like, okay, so what does that mean? And then it's still, originally Amazon had a bunch of issues. So, you know, a lot of people, like, they were sending me screenshots like, hey, I pre-ordered. I'm like, hey, you shouldn't have to pre-order. Like, I got a backpack full of books, so I know they're ready because I have some myself. So I think everything's kind of on track. I got 2 Amazon reviews, 5-star. I feel like I got a 10-star book. Just motivational. So one thing about me, I'm not going to use too many excuses. I'm always put the onus is on me. Even if I feel like something my fault, it's not my fault, I'm going to put it on me instead of blaming you. Because whenever you point at a person, you got those 3 fingers pointing at you and that one up. If I point at me, it's just that one. So now I got that one finger, this one's still pointing up, this one's away. I'm not worried about that, I'm worried about the one closer to me. And I'll figure out where it needs to happen. Sometimes when you try your best, you still kind of, it doesn't take you to the level where you want to be at, but you can sleep at night knowing like, hey, I did the best I could do, and that's all you can do.
No, I like that, man, yeah. You got any shout outs you want like to give before you wrap it up?
Man, I want to give a shout out to my babies. Like I said, parenthood to me is just like chasing a mark that you will never reach, but I don't mind going to it. As a person, I push myself further being a parent versus being like a person. Being a dad, I need to do this. And sometimes when things didn't work out, kind of get discouraged, let it get the best of me. But one thing I realized about me and just life in general, and this is my book too, so I'm gonna throw another one in there. Just that pressure you're dealing with life, it don't feel good, don't feel comfortable, you don't like it, but it's like a slingshot. That pressure that you need, pulling, like, yeah, this sucks. When you take off, it'll be all worth it. So that's kind of how I feel. The next thing I would definitely gotta say, shout out to my little town and county, the whole state of South Carolina. I got a South Carolina tattoo right here, LA. I'm not from California, Loans area, but now I tell people LA is gonna be like little Atlanta. Just get some businesses, support each other, this and this. We're in the same boat as everybody else, a lot of gentrification. Back in the 90s, we didn't have a lot of diversity. Now there's some $250,000 houses in the hood. But if we boss up, take care of our own stuff, like our grandparents and, people before them, they did everything just like with no guidance, no nothing, just wherever they had is what they had. And you can't blame them just because look at the history books. It's reparations, people say that, and they've been saying that since I was 18 years old. Is it gonna happen? Probably not, because if so, it would have happened already. The longer you wait, it gets more complicated of who's what and this, what kind of compensation. It ain't happening, you gotta save yourself. Nipsey Hussle on Young in extra A kind of like lays it out. You're gonna have one person with a vision. Once you get that, you build your team up. Once things start happening like that, that's gonna be unity. A lot of people think it won't be any black unity once we master business. So if bro got he's a barber. Hey, man, that's a fresh fade. So all right, boom, boom. So now you building his stuff up. I may have a landscaping business. All right, I cut him up. Hey, who doing so-and-so? O'Jay, blah, blah, blah. Bro over here might be, cooking, bringing the truck up, feed both of us. Hey, who got the best food? Man, that's a little food truck, so-and-so, supporting each other. And then that's how you build your community up. Not necessarily saying you're not going to, every city is not going to form into Atlanta, but you should be able to at least sustain. And I wholeheartedly believe in that. And I did 20 years in the Army. The next 20 years, I'm going to do something that nobody really cared about doing, and they didn't have the resources. But I've been in a different situation. And I think people kind of understand, but you just got to catch people in certain situations. You got to catch them young and like just get the kids like you just got to change their environment. So we're here for Atlanta for the weekend. Just imagine like kids, in the summertime we bring them here. They go to Six Flags, just, go downtown and just like check out, the coat factory, the aquarium. And they're like, man, like the world's bigger than Loans. It's a whole lot bigger than Loans. Like, yeah, Myrtle Beach is Myrtle Beach, but at the same time, Myrtle Beach is not like a true like big city. There's no big cities in South Carolina. That's why I kind of feel like we're kind of like behind. You got Columbia, South Carolina, but Columbia's probably like Macon. It's a little bit more bigger, but it's not like a huge city. I never heard anybody say, hey, I'm gonna take a trip to Columbia, South Carolina. If they say they're taking a trip to Columbia, they're going to South America. So we never had those big cities. Everybody comes in this thing, they're talking about the dirt roads, you gotta go far to do this and this and this. So some people gotta travel like 45 minutes to an hour to go to like Charlotte or different places. Like it's one of those small traditional places, but at the same time, if you know your area, you can always kind of, that some of the challenges, you should know how to make money. It's not easy to make money, but if you couldn't live life and thrive, I don't think it'd be any point of living. You kind of it wouldn't be no point because everybody's gonna die off. So I feel like you can change your environment. So I take that excuse, product of your environment. You can change your environment. Change does take time. This is 200 years ago. Most of the people who are here, we're not gonna be on this stage right here. We're gonna be working. working very hard for no compensation. And, you know, and we're already defeated mentally. So now we got to figure out how to get ourselves back mentally. And a lot of what needs to happen is I'm a big thing counselor, because when I was going through all that stuff with my the family court with my ex over the last 2 years, I just had to get myself right. So I started doing therapy, and it kind of helped me a lot. Just kind of discovered a lot of things about myself. And me personally, like, I never thought I was gonna move out to South Carolina. I was gonna like move to Atlanta. This is like where I'm stationed at in the Army. There's a small base here, so I'm here, but this ain't where I'm supposed to be at. So I kind of fought the feeling, but I know it's not right. And a lot of people come from the hood, but like they may have like a relative that did something, and then like a lot of that street politics, it don't really go away. So sometimes you got to get away just because, you know, all right, he killed you, so now we know they kind of feel some kind of way, and you know, just stuff like that, just like, you know, that street beef, it really don't die, like, because it takes somebody to be the bigger person to take that L to kind of make the community a better place. But the community would be better if everybody's kind of united, because then everybody's kind of eating. Everybody's fighting with scraps. But I never seen a black face on any dollars, but I've seen a lot of black people kill over money and get locked up. Then you make somebody else money.
Yeah. All right, cool. That was good.
One thing too, yeah, it's for the young generation. A lot of y'all, you know, y'all spinning the blocks, you got switches, all this stuff like that. Like, everybody's saying, oh, you got ops, this and this. I never seen people come from poverty with more issues than the U.S. government. The government sent, last time I checked, was $75 billion to Ukraine, and there's different conflicts going on where there's money going on. It's crazy how somebody from the hood has more ops than the U.S. government, but everybody's in the same situation. A lot of times people that are so much alike clash, it's because you're so much alike more than different. So sometimes you really gotta get to that root cause. So what's what? Oh, I'm kind of mad at you because, you know, you took my baby mama. Well, guess what? I didn't know that was your baby mama. You know, she told me this is this. And then you start getting to the root cause. And then sometimes you're not gonna like everybody. Just, you know, keep it moving. Hey, bye. Sometimes you don't have to do that. Sometimes just go about your business. You know, you're not gonna like everybody. You don't have to people chase and people please. Just, you know, be focused on what you're doing and who has your back and things like that. So support a positive story. If you check my stuff out, you're gonna love it. Just by coming from the bottom, everything is it's a fictional book, just the way it's told. It's a pessimist, optimist meeting up, but it's just my whole life from 4 years old, and I remember my life like every year by like music. I could kind of tell you what song hit what year, and I remember. So my book opens up by the DMX slipping, hey, yo, slipping, falling, can't get up, hey, yo, slipping, falling, can't get up, yo, slipping, falling, got to get up, get me back on my feet so I can tear stuff up. I didn't use the S word, so then that's kind of how it starts. Another thing too, like. Right now, if you look on social media, it's like this all the gender war, males and females. I just had a baby not too long ago, and there was a lot of women that were pregnant. So if there's a gender war, oh, high value man, this woman needs to be traditional, this and this and this and this, we just gotta come together and stop all the bickering. Other people not bickering, they're making boss moves. So we're bickering about, you know, high class men or this and this or this and this, stupid. If you don't wanna deal with this type of person, deal with that person. Sometimes the person that you want may not be the person that you need. So that's a lot of things. Like, yeah, that eye candy may be good, but maybe that, yeah, she's a 10, but she don't care about you. But maybe that 7.5, 8, she might be a 9, 9.5 maybe. But she has your best interest. A lot of times we'll do that, and a lot of times when we get what we want, we don't appreciate it, and we end up losing it. But once you lose it and it does better elsewhere, you know, you can't be, you know, that's on you. But everything happens for a reason. You know, we're all teaching each other lessons and always growing and developing as people. So one thing I would say too is if I ever crossed you wrong in the past, my apologies for meeting me at a bad time in my life. And I say to my kid's mom, you gave me a good fight in court, but I'm from the bottom, so you're not gonna stop me. Like, I'm gonna keep going. I've been doing that. I'm happy, I'm good. You allow me to push myself, so I appreciate it. Anytime I'm in one of those situations, getting pulled back, it's taking me off, so I appreciate it.
I know how I feel. I'm straight out the gutter, I'm straight out the trenches. I know how I feel. I'm talking cold showers, I wasn't even in jail. That's why I'm giving them hell.